All right, studio time check says it's 37 minutes past 2 p.m. Today, the 6th day in September of 2025. Good afternoon to you, dear listener. Thank you for tuning to Wells Radio 89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio, your number one family radio in the whole of Oyo State. We're broadcasting live from the Wells Broadcasting House. It's located along Alafin Avenue, Oluyole Estate, Ibadan. It's a wonderful Saturday afternoon, and we're here again with Meet the Press. My name is Bolanle Oduekun-Ayoola. Before we even get into the program at all, I'd like to say you need to go on Facebook right now because we're live on Facebook and you can watch what's happening in the studio. You can see the faces of the panel members as well as our guests on Meet the Press. Okay, so go to Facebook and like our Facebook page. It's our fan page, specially curated for you, our dear listener. It's Wells Radio 893 FM fan page. I'll take it again. Wells Radio 893 FM fan page. Like the page, like our posts, and also post your comments and share our posts as well. Now, you can also follow us on an array of social media platforms. We're also on Instagram at Wells Radio 893. We're on X at Wells Radio 893. We're even on TikTok at Wells Radio 893. If you're listening to this as you're driving out of Ibadan and you're wondering, oh my goodness, am I going to miss the rest of this episode? No, you will not, because you can listen via our website, www.wellsradio893.com. I'll take that again, www.wellsradio893.com. That's how you can listen to us from anywhere in the world, okay? You can listen anywhere in the world. You can also listen to us on radiogarden.com, onlineradiobox.net. You can find us on all of those radio directories. So once again, welcome, and thank you for tuning to Wells Radio 89.3 FM. The program is Meet the Press, and as you know, on Meet the Press, we would regularly have our guests who are very prominent members of the society, where we get to ask them questions. That's what it is. They are meeting the press, so we get to ask them questions, an array of questions, honestly, and they also answer. Today will not be different, but before we get to our guests, our panel members for today, we have Chukwemeka Munochi. So, hello, how are you?
I'm okay, Bola.
How are you doing today?
I'm okay. I'm always doing fine.
I like that because it's rare to find someone that will say they're always doing fine in Nigeria today.
I'm always doing fine.
Okay, so what are your expectations?
Well, we brought in our big fish this afternoon.
I like that.
I've read about him very well, and I'm happy seeing him live in the studio, and I hope that we'll be able to take the questions we are going to throw at him.
All right. Also on the panel today is the one and the only Sade Liri. That's how you say it. You can always, how do you say it?
You can simply and always call me Sade.
Our sports analyst right here on Wells Radio 89.3 FM is joining us on the show, and that should give our listeners a pointer to where we're going today. Usually on Meet the Press, we talk politics, religion, agri, but today is different. We're going to the world of sports, and that's how I'm going to bring our guests in. Our guest today is Honorable Taiwo Lekan Salame, the executive chairman of Shooting Stars Sports Club. That's the 3SC. He's also a respected figure in Ibadan North politics, a key stakeholder in one of the ruling parties. But we're not talking politics today. So you're welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for having me.
How are you
Happy
doing,
to be
sir?
here.
Lovely to have you on the show, sir. So how are you doing today?
I'd like to thank you for inviting me to your studio. I'm really happy to be here, and I'm looking forward to engaging, with all of you. And our listeners too.
Definitely. And that's to say to our listeners that you can join this conversation today, okay? You can join this conversation by calling the studio lines, which are open, 0916-893-1000, 0915-333-4893, and 0911-3333-893. I'll take those numbers again, 0916-893-1000, 0915-333-4893, and 893. We'll also have a WhatsApp number for you where you can send your messages. You can send your questions to 0915 4999 893. I'll take that number again, 0915 4999 893. So we'll start the round of questions to our guests, but we'll start from the sports guru on the table, not from myself this time around. We'll start from Sadilere.
Okay. Once again, welcome to Meet the Press, and welcome our executive chairman of the Shooting Stars, popularly known as the 3SA or the Oli Warriors. It's been a new era for football lovers in Oyo State, sir. And let me start from this prospect. You came in with a lot of physical changes. Did you have a blueprint? Because I know probably you've not envisaged occupying this position from start. Did you have a blueprint? Because one thing everyone has been talking about, especially lovers and those familiar with the Lake Osanami Stadium who comes to the Adamasingba to see the 3SC play, is we can all evidently say, okay, there are changes from media to finance, which we'll come to talk about, because just like Chukwemeka said, we hope you're ready to answer our questions today. But did you have a blueprint for these changes before coming into that particular office, for making it so visible from start?
Well, you see, the thing is, by nature, I'm a consultant. All right, I run a consulting firm, which I've been doing for the past 15 years. And before then, I was in banking and I was also in telecoms, So over the past 30 years, of course, I've gathered experiences across different sectors, both public, and private sector. And predominantly, those experiences, I bring it to bear, when the need arises. Besides delving into politics about 4 years ago, that brings another level of experience entirely, which is not even things that is taught in the classroom. Okay, so with a combination of that, we didn't have a blueprint, when the announcement was made, but because of the nature of what I do, it's natural for me to develop one very quickly. All right, consultants are synonymous with, looking for solutions. There will always be challenges, irrespective of the industry you're in, but there are always solutions. The solutions could be technology, it could be people, it could be processes, it could be all sorts. It could be training interventions, it could be systems reengineering, whatever it is. All right. So Shooting Stars for me was not different to looking at an organization and say, okay, how best can we run, this entity? Naturally, we saw that there were so many leakages. Many things were wrong, from people managing it to lack of processes. There was minimal technology deployed. The media space, we were not really there, and so many others. So we didn't have a blueprint, but we developed one very quickly, that would look at all the challenges that we had, and then we'll start addressing them one by preferring the right solutions, for it, both on and off the field, because you need to, have like a full spectrum, of development. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, I'll pick up from where Sadilere stopped. One of the solutions, or one of the things that you did first, was a total transformation. Dissolving, the leadership, the overhaul, of major departments, removing people from here and there. How was the reception of that? We all know that change is not easy, and not everybody embraces change, at the beginning.
They don't.
So how was that for the morale of the players, the morale of the supporters, and for the, for you and your team, as the leaders of the club at the time? How was it received?
I mean, no matter what changes you make, there will always be some that would take it positively, and then there will always be others that would not take it so positively. You can't please everybody. Do you know what I mean? And nobody's perfect, all right? But it was clear what we needed to do. In my mind, it was very clear, all right? And I think what also helped the transition was that, people just wanted to give this a chance. All right. Okay. He's a technocrat. Let's see. Let's try and do things a bit differently. So we came in, with a mandate to restructure, to re-engineer, and to reposition. All right. We term them the 3 R's. All right. So everything we do must key in and align with those 3, pipes, so to speak. Be it, as you said, I mean, the management crew or the coaching crew, the back office, even the players, and so on. So we were lucky to an extent because people just believed that, okay, it's like football is coming home, of course. Lakers Salami and Shooting Stars, is like a marriage made in heaven. So if anybody can do it, definitely maybe his son will be able to do it. So, I'll use this opportunity to thank His Excellency for deeming it fit, for giving me this challenge. Yeah.
Okay, Honorable Salami, you're welcome once again.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, what exactly is the current situation of the club since you assumed office?
When you say current situation, I mean, I'd like you to be a bit more specific. Are you talking of financing? Are you talking of
overall? Touch all aspects.
The club?
Yes.
The club is, you must have witnessed over the past maybe 6 weeks or thereabouts, or 7 weeks, that there's been tremendous change. Are we talking of, blocking revenue leakages? Are we talking of, we've opened up a store where we can, buy merchandise at controlled prices? Okay. Are we talking of, rebranding all our vehicles, even with new tires? Are we talking of even the players having proper contracts? Are we talking of looking after their welfare, in terms of trying to clear backlog of salaries and, emoluments? Are we talking of, increasing their bonuses? Are we talking of even their strength and conditioning? We brought in a strength and conditioning coach. These are things that is alien to a club like Shooting Stars. We brought
strength and conditioning coach.
Yes. Okay. Are we talking of bringing in a match analyst? Again, that's something that's alien to a club like Shooting Stars. Where they'll analyze matches, they watch videos, see their mistakes. They even watch videos of, opponents that we're going to play and see where their strengths and the weaknesses are. Are we talking of even nutrition? Things as simple as that. We place a lot of emphasis on players' nutrition, these days. We've brought in a psychologist. He's part of the coaching crew. Because, football is all about, your mental state of health. How well prepared are you mentally to go onto the field of play? You can imagine maybe about 4 or 5 weeks ago, or 5 weeks, where we lost, one of our coaching crew, right there on the training pitch, that collapsed and died, unfortunately. May his soul rest in peace. Mr. Oduekun-Ayoola. You can imagine what that would have had on the mental state of health of those players that witnessed it, there, their coach. So the psychologists had to come in, in group sessions, take them through, trying to, get them to be mentally. And we were in the middle of a competition, so and we needed to, finish that competition. So there's so many things that we've done. Even are we talking about ticketing? We're reporting record numbers as far as ticketing sales are concerned. There are things we've brought in, to be able to control, how people get into the stadium and how they must pay to come in. Are we talking about what? Season tickets. We even sold 2 premium season tickets on my way here. We've sold close to 20. Even sponsorships. Pockets of sponsors have come on board. There's a particular sponsor, Streamline, that's coming tomorrow. I think they're sponsoring maybe refreshments or whatever for the VVIP guests, at the match tomorrow. We want to thank them for that. Major sponsors, talks are at advanced stages of talks. And the moment they all come on stream, of course, the way we run, very transparent, and we're extremely accountable, we would, make noise, and everybody would know that we now have a major, shirt sponsor. We have a sponsor for pitch paddles. We have a sponsor, for buses and so on and so forth. So there are many things we're doing, and it's like on the go.
Okay, sir, if I may ask before I move purely into 3SC questions.
Yeah.
Now, let me start with Lekon Salami as the name. You actually let that out. Lekon Salami and Shooting Stars is like a union made in heaven. Did you feel extra pressure when the mantle fell on you from His Excellency, or it's something you were eager to accept?
To be honest with you, the pressure is, of course, there, because you're carrying the mantle of, you're carrying a legacy, on your shoulders, and that's a legacy we've preserved since my father's demise, some 37 years ago. It's not an easy feat for a name to still remain relevant and recognized, almost 4 decades after a demise. So that pressure is always there, so you need to do things right. You don't want to soil the family name, because that you're not the only one bearing that name, so the pressure is there. But if there was any appointment, I would say, in this state that really, really gladdens my heart, this one probably does, because you're not only keen into that legacy and want to build on it, you're also trying to create your own legacy, because that's all you will have left, after you might have gone. Just the way my father was able to at least have a particular type of footprint, in the sands of time. I also am willing, and I'm working to creating, similar footprint for myself, so that, the name continues to resonate.
Okay, sir. Do you have a question? Okay, going with Shooting Stars to start with. It was a record opening season. We were fortunate to play our first game against Baisa at home.
Yeah.
That's at the Lekon Salami Stadium. Mm-hmm. And we had a record of about 4.8 million in ticket sales. Mm-hmm. Before going into ticket sales, one thing this administration has been able to project is transparency, which is something the fans have cried for. Where did the idea to pick that media team and give them the mandate that, okay, we want this thing on social platforms, we want the fan to have this connection beyond the pitch, let them know how we run? Because at times we come to ask ourselves, stakeholders, that, okay, did people suggest this name of this media team to you, or you were specific, picking random guys and then telling them, this is what I want and this is how you should run it?
You see, it's a case of maybe preparation, meets opportunity. All right. A couple of the media guys that are on our team right now, they've been longing for an opportunity to be able to at least showcase, their talent. All right. And between you and I, media these days, particularly with technology and the way things are evolving, is for the young guys. Men and women, under 25. They can think quickly out of the box, and then when it comes to technology, they understand it and how best to use it. Okay, so we created a platform for them. They keyed into, my vision of transparency, accountability. We publish everything. I think just maybe 48 hours ago, we even published our sales on merchandise, what we've been able to realize in 3 weeks. All right. So it was, let me say they came in at the right time, and then they were also fortunate to have a leader like me that's, allows them to express themselves the way they can. All right. I was looking through the graphics for Shooting Stars, which I always do, yesterday, and comparing it to the graphics of, other clubs within the league, the MPFL. We're head and shoulders above them, and we've just started. Our graphics team and our graphic designer, boldly says that, look, I'm not even competing in terms of graphic content and designs with people in MPFL leagues, colleagues in the MPFL. I'm competing with people who are designing graphics in Chelsea and Manchester United. That is the way he sees himself, and so that he with that in mind, now he puts in a lot more effort. Everything is on point. And they're doing a great job, really. We're dominating the media space with so much content.
Before you come in, okay. So I have this question.
Okay.
I feel like now is the time before we move, generally into the local leagues.
Yes.
Around May, so this information is not new. Around May, a particular sportscaster, we know that Ibadan thrives a lot on sportscasting, especially Yoruba, and a particular Yoruba sportscaster on one of the radio stations here in Ibadan made some allegations on his show to say that the 3SC intentionally threw some games, making allegations of match fixing. Now, this particular sportscaster obviously has withdrawn his statement since, issued a public apology. But let's look at the wider issue of, match fixing in local leagues. There's the rumor, because when this issue came out, I know I read series of comments on social media and people saying, oh, this guy is just was not coded, this thing is true, it's happening in 3SC. What after this matter came out, what checks and balances also have been done in the club itself to ensure that something like this is actually not happening and won't happen? Now, what's your thoughts on match fixing in local leagues?
There are many things that soils the integrity of this league, all right? And match fixing, for me, to be honest, was alien to me until I came into this position. It's something I'd never heard of. It's something I'd never thought of. But when I became the executive chairman of 3SC, it became clear to me that, things like this, is actually happening. And I was completely taken aback. Now, it is true, unless we want to deceive ourselves, that things like that, do happen or is happening. Even amongst the 12 disciples, there was a particular Judas, Iscariot. So you will always have bad eggs, all right? It's how you weed them out and what you do about them that matters. So, knowing that, what we now did was we got all players, all right, to sign contracts, okay? And one of the clauses in our contract that we, developed for them to sign clearly states there that if peradventure, all right, you are found wanting or you're suspected of, being involved in anything of such, immediately your contract will be terminated and then you'll be reported to MPFL, and the appropriate sanctions, will be meted out to you, meaning maybe you probably will not be able to play in this league again for a number of years. So putting that there, already we're letting everybody know where we stand, okay? That we're not going to tolerate it. It's something that, of course, it's completely unprofessional. So for us as a club, we've been able to put that in place to ensure that, all our players, they live, within their means and, they abide by the rules and regulations of Shooting Stars.
Okay. Sir, I hope you know that Governor Sheyi Makinde is an astute businessman. And you, as a business mogul, how do you hope to turn 3SC into a money spinner? Because a round-the-leg game is no longer about 11 men running around the field. How do you hope to make 3SC a money spinner for Oyo State?
Yeah, I mean, we came in when the appointment was made, and I had to do initial, executive summary.
Okay.
Blueprints. There were two clear objectives that I had. The first one, of course, is I have an objective to win the league, or at the very worst case scenario, qualify for continental championship. All right, that's the first objective. The second objective was to turn around the business fortunes and unlock the economic potentials of a Shooting Stars, football entity. All right. Clearly, we've started doing that.
Okay.
Even though it's just match day 3 tomorrow, we've started doing that. Selling merchandise is something that has never been done. All right. Opening up a club store. Plugging loopholes in ticketing. Then also having players, some are signed on like extended contracts now. If, the time does come, we should be able to, have some economic benefits from them if we sell players. I know a lot of clubs that are selling players abroad are making a whole lot of money. So Shooting Stars, can also do that. All right. Where the website is going to be launched. We've never had a website. It's going to be launched, anytime soon, the next few days. Where all the player profiles are there, about the club, the history, so many things you can buy, online tickets, So we're doing so much, even in this very short period of time. As my friend just said, we were able to announce, I think, 4.8, the first game.
Okay.
Tomorrow, I know we'll probably do more than that.
Okay, before you go, sir, you said something about a proper contract and a proper welfare in your first submission.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that proper contract?
What we mean by proper contract is that, Shooting Stars before, from what we met on ground,
Okay.
quite a number of players, were on loan.
Okay.
They were not particularly tied to the club as such.
Okay.
But as it is today, none of our players are on loan.
Okay.
Everybody has,
A contract.
a tenured contract,
Okay.
be it 1 year, 2 years, 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Okay, so since we're talking about ticketing, the fans have been asking questions both online on the 3SC sport social platforms about online ticketing. What are the plans in the pipeline, or do we have one already? concerning online ticketing, because whether we take it or not, the sport-loving fans of 3SC, we see how much they gather at the stadium during match days. Yes, we've seen this administration trying to bring in earlier time to purchase tickets from 9 a.m. down to before the kickoff. But are there plans? Yes, are there plans for online ticket sales?
Yeah, I mean, as they say, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Rome was not built in a day. So, online ticketing is something that's definitely we're going to get there. All right. There are fundamental challenges that we need to surmount before we can that can be a reality. It's one of the things on the website. All right. Once that is launched, and we're happy with the payment platform, and we've tested it and it's working, then online ticketing sales, would actually commence. But for now, it's not ready yet, but it's work in progress, and it is going to come. All right, sooner rather than later. Yeah.
All right, sir.
Okay, so let's move to the football issue generally in Nigeria, the Nigerian local leagues. But before I ask that question, I'd like to remind our listeners that if you're just tuning in, it's Meet the Press on Wells Radio 89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio. The studio lines are open. Our guest today on Meet the Press is Honorable Taiwo Lekan Salami, the Executive Chairman of Shooting Stars Sports Club, that's the 3SC. Now, Nigerian local leagues, to be honest, before coming to work in Ibadan, never heard of Shooting Stars, I'm just using Shooting Stars as an example. Many people as well who pride themselves as sports lovers in Nigeria don't know much about the local leagues. We watch matches on TV, by these cable networks. Very great quality when it comes to foreign matches. But when it comes to local matches, I know I've asked that question before, terrible quality. And they were often left wondering, is it from, the cable networks, or is it from, we see the different pitches, we see the welfare condition. We hear every now and then that players, had an accident while traveling by road, the bus was bad, this happened and that happened, some people being owed money. What do you think is the major issue, the major problem plaguing local leagues in Nigeria today?
I think the major issue plaguing the local league today is funding. Yes. Football is big business, really big business, but it requires adequate capital. It's the returns are not immediate, because there can only be one winner of the league, and there are 20 teams. However, what the person that wins that league spends is more or less what the person that came 20th is also going to spend. You know what I mean? So, adequate capital and investment is the key issue or challenge that I see with with the league. Quite a number of clubs are state-run, okay, but the purses of each state differs. If you have a sports-loving governor, for instance, like we do in Oyo State, he might be able to go over and beyond for the team, but maybe in other states, sports might not be the priority for that governor, so he's just going to do the barest minimum, for the team. Okay, I know of a team that tells me that, look, Chairman, we only have 2 buses, and that's what we've had for a couple of years. Meanwhile, the Shooting Stars, right now we have about 5 buses, and the governor, though they've been there for quite a number of years, but we're still using them, and the sports-loving governor of your state, says it's going to give us an additional 2. You know what I mean? So funding is the major, and it translates into other things, the media, sponsorship.
I was going
and
to
so
ask
on.
about sponsorship. We know that sponsorship plays a huge part when it comes to international sports. You hear big brands, sponsoring clubs, sponsoring players. But in Nigeria here, well, especially for the local leagues, we don't really hear it. And some of these big brands are, some of them are domiciled in Nigeria and can easily sponsor all of this. Is it that there is no confidence in the local leagues to bring in money? Because we know that when it comes to brands, they're also looking out for themselves. So is it that there is no confidence in the local leagues?
And sir, to add to that, we just sorry, sir. I think we're just setting up the heat on the hot seat now. To add to that, we just lost a deal with a major cable network. I don't want to principally mention name now. That's with the MPFL itself. In relation to our question on this part, we don't have much on ground.
Okay.
Then the little we have, we are losing touch with them. They said in the clause of the contract that the first 2 years will be on provisional condition. So if we are losing that and we are trusting to have more brands, then how can we then manage the sponsorship issues?
Or is it that the local league is not colorful enough? Why? Because
Okay.
Yeah.
I started, this interview by telling you a little bit about, my background and the sectors I've played in and all that, and the experiences I've had over the past 30 plus years. Now, big brands, so to speak, would only come, all right, if they feel that there's going to be value, all right, and that value, okay, can only be derived if they're comfortable with your numbers, okay? And I'm not even talking of financials now.
Are people watching the matches?
The number of fans you have in your stadium, how you've been able to amplify your figures on the different social media channels, how many followers you have, what kind of content are you creating, how many likes if they post, So it is very important for clubs to know that big brands would only come, okay? Because that's what they're going to look at. They're going to look at your penetration on the social media. They're not here, all right, even if they're here. But that is where, cross-selling and visibility and all the things they look for, that is where it's going to be amplified, all right? But a lot of clubs are not seeing it that way. They're doing traditional maybe engagements, and then they're trying to play on sentiments, okay? But it doesn't work that way anymore, all right? Before you want a big brand to come, they will go, they will see how many feeds you have, what's the content that you're putting out there, what are your graphics like, how many people are actually even, viewing your videos on TikTok or whatever, or YouTube or Snapchat, whatever it is, So that is where the clubs need to, invest and look in that direction. If they do that right, trust me, big brands will come. Even foreign clubs will come that want to partner with you and say, okay, I think we like what you guys are doing. Maybe we can, invest and partner to develop your academy. Do you understand? So that is where it will come from. But if you continue to do it the way it's been done they will not come. That's just the honest truth.
Okay, so officiating has been one of the challenges faced by the MPFL.
Yeah.
I'm talking about referees. My question will be divided into two. First, under the leadership of Honorable Gbenga Elegbeleye, that's the chairman of the Nigerian Premier Football League. He has come out over time to say the MPFL under his administration has done so much to curb officiating challenges. I don't want to be specific now. But, sir, over time, sportscasters like myself, sport journalists, when we hear of officiating issues that has to do with probably the club or that is related to officiating issues. It's down to they are fined 1 million, 1 million for this, 2 million for this, at most 2 million naira, except they have subsequent charges. Do you think the MPFL has done enough to curb officiating challenges? That's from the angle of the officials themselves, the referees. Number two, for clubs that have fans who assault match officials, do you think the MPFL has done enough to instill what I'll call fear? It may not be in the negative way. I mean, fear of, okay, we've done this, we've been penalized this way. We should not attempt this under no condition because of subsequent punishment. Do you think the MPFL has done enough to curb officiating challenges in this regard?
Very interesting question. You see, the thing is, for officiating, there's no doubt that there's room for improvement. There is room for improvement. However, I can boldly say that perhaps in times past, right, results on the field of play, before, we'll probably say 30% is probably due to, exactly how the teams played. And maybe 70% was maybe officiating influence here and there. That's before. But for now, I would say it's probably the other way around. Okay? Games are a bit more balanced. 70% of whatever results you see in the MPFL today, 70%, I can say it, is probably due to what was played on the field of play. Maybe the other 30% might be otherwise. So we tell our players, just go and play. We plead with officials to give us a balanced game. And, may the best man win. It's 11 against 11. The league is a bit now more tolerable. I think the acts of violence and all that has really come down. And I can liken that to probably some of the steps MPFL has also taken in disciplining clubs, for being unruly, maybe their fans are unruly. I think last year we were also playing behind closed doors for like 3 matches. And you know what that means. We'll spend money to prosecute matches, then you cannot earn anything because there'll be no fans to watch. Some clubs were even banished to stadiums outside their city, so it's like a double whammy, more costs that way. So last week in Benin, when we were there and we got a draw, it struck me because we were in the car park immediately after the game. All the players, supporters of Shooting Stars, they went en masse. We were jubilating right inside the stadium in the car park, These are things that could never happen before, You'll have to probably find each other. You find yourself in town somehow, because they could have maybe broken the windows of your vehicles. But the league is now a lot more tolerable, very tolerant. The Bender supporters were walking. We were singing and dancing, and they were just walking and going home, So it's good to see that at least there is some form of development. We lost our home to Bielsa, but we didn't lose our heads. Our supporters were able to, they behaved and they were able, and these are things that never used to happen, So it's coming on stream, It's still work in progress. We're not yet there, but I think, it's getting a bit better, yeah.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Now, let's talk about talents, football talents in Nigeria and, of course, by extension, Africa. I grew up to, a reality that for every football player, it's in their mind that there's a greener pasture, and that greener pasture is outside of the shores of the country. Now, how is that, taking a toll on talents for the local leagues? So many people, once they start playing the local leagues and they feel like, okay, I don't do small, they're looking at how to, go out. So what does that spell for, talents for the local leagues and retaining talents for the local leagues?
You see, that challenge is not only down to sports, not only football, other sports. In the medical profession, there's so many professions like that. The next thing is I need to go abroad and hone my skills there. But it's not always easy. That's the thing. The good thing that we tend to have here is that there's talent in abundance. In Nigeria, even in Africa, there's talent everywhere. If 50 players, for instance, move abroad today, you can be rest assured that there are about another 100 or 150 that are probably even as good or even better than them, but they've just never had the opportunity to excel. So I have no worries that people will always look for greener pastures. There's it's human nature to do that, but in terms of depleting what we have, I think we have so much talent. It's everywhere, man, that some others will rise.
So getting talent is not an issue.
No.
Okay. How do you hope to?
Before you come in, apologies.
Okay,
I know that Chukwuemeka is really, really excited and really interested to talk. So it's still Meet the Press, but we'll take a short break. When we come back from the break, we'll continue this episode. Very interesting episode. Our guest has been Honorable Taiwo Lekan-Salami, the Executive Chairman of Shooting Stars Sports Club. I have a question too about the sports club, but when we come back from the break, please don't go anywhere. Stay with us. Yes, has been Honorable Taiwo Lekan-Salami, the Executive.
Your preferred wholesome radio.
How long will it take you to confirm payment? I have been waiting for the past 1 hour.
I'm so sorry. Our network is slow. I will just run out of data.
Same excuse yesterday. It is unacceptable, please. You better switch to One Data Internet Service.
One Data?
Yes, One Data. One Data is an internet service provider with the best alternative and solution for unlimited speed. One Data provides fast and reliable internet service to organizations, homes, and places of interest in Nigeria. With One Data, you get to enjoy the premium internet service with dedicated unlimited internet speed at all times, 24/7 fantastic customer service and support, and you enjoy a 1-month free subscription when you make payment. Now is the time to say goodbye to downtimes. Sign up with One Data today on 0811 223 2671 or visit www.onedata.ng for more inquiries. One Data, unlimited speed.
tẹ́ ẹ bá fẹ́ polówó ọjà yín lórí rédíò tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ máa ta wàràwàrà bọ́ mẹ́ta ṣe ń tà West Radio ní kẹ́ ẹ máa bọ̀ o àfẹ̀tiwa gbé tiyín lárugẹ owó ò ga jára lọ o come for your jingle and advertisement at West Radio 89.3 FM gbogbo lẹ́gbẹ́lẹ́gbẹ́ àti lájọ̀lájọ̀ iléeṣẹ́ ńláńlá àti kéékèèké ẹ̀yin ilé ìjọsìn pátápátá ẹ máa bọ̀ ẹ wá gbé wò ẹ jẹ́ wò ẹ jọ́ wò ẹ tọ́ wò jọ́ gbà kọ́ga ni mástà. kí lẹ tún dúró ṣe náà. ẹ má ṣe tàbí ṣùgbọ́n o. ẹ máa bọ̀ wá sílé iṣẹ́ wa. gbàǹgbà la wà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ títì. ilé funfun pẹ̀lú àwọ̀ búlù. West Broadcasting House ní Aláàfin Avenue Olúyọ̀lé Estate Ìbàdàn, Ọ̀yọ́ State, Nàìjíríà. ẹ̀lú 07066165053 tàbí 08035093394. West Radio 89.3 FM. Ọlọ́run gbọ́ gbogbo ń tẹ́ fẹ́ ojú kan ló wà.
Yo, what's up?
Baby, let's go! Hey there! Want to stay connected to your favorite radio station? Follow us on social media for the latest updates, entertaining wholesome content, and behind-the-scene peaks. We're on Instagram at Wells Radio 893, Facebook Wells Radio 893 FM fan page, X Wells Radio 893. Follow our WhatsApp channel Wells Radio 89.3 FM. Get a scoop on upcoming shows, giveaways, and events. Also get to interact with your favorite presenters and share your thoughts on our posts and stories. Join the conversation and stay tuned into Wells Radio 89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio.
89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio.
So glad to know you're still there. You're welcome back. It's still World's Radio 89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio, your number one family radio in the whole of Oyo State. And the program is Meet the Press. We've been talking sports, since we started up until now. Our guest is still here with us, Honorable Taiwo Lekon Salami, the Executive Chairman of the Shooting Stars Sports Club 3SC. Thank you so much for being with us, and we've been enjoying, your answers to our questions all along. Now, I know Chukwemeka had a question for one.
Yeah, we once brought somebody here sometime, I think it was last year, and we asking the person about the performance of 3SC, and he said something that struck me. He said 3SC, that they don't have indigenous players, that they need to have indigenous players who be committed to the state. Does it really matter if somebody, because yesterday I watched the ball between Ukraine and France, and most of those guys playing for France are not from France, and they are committed. So does it work out that way? Is it because I can see, if you look at the Enugu Rangers, you see Bolaji playing for them and everything. Does it really work that he must be an indigenous person?
Well, you see, the thing is, there's a positive side to it, and there's also a negative side to it. Of course, you can't have a full team that would have indigenous players. It's just not done. But to have one or two or three indigenous players, within the team, it also helps. Because it helps because the fans that knows them, they can connect with them, and they can identify with them, and they would continue to come and watch them, so that's the good side, of having indigenous players, within the fold. Not only within the fold, also maybe within your coaching crew, within your setup, so to speak. I know we have a couple of indigenous players in our team. Yeah, we do. I think arguably, one of our very top players, he's from Bere in Ibadan here. He's the young chap that scored a goal in Benin. He plays on the left wing, Ismail. So his family members, people who know him from that, area. Yeah, they come and watch. So that's and then when you look at the coaching crew as well, if you have one or two indigenous within that setup, it also helps. So people have a sense of belonging, that you've not completely abandoned, your roots and all that. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, sir. Let's go to the Nigerian Football Federation. You are definitely a major stakeholder when it comes to football in Nigeria, being the executive chairman of Shooting Stars.
Am I?
You are, sir. Speaking about the Nigerian Football Federation, let's drive it to the Super Eagles of Nigeria today. Will be facing the Amavubi of Rwanda, and what should be a must-win. That is, if we want to keep the hopes of qualifying for the World Cup alive. We've been in a condition of up and down until having a new head coach for the Super Eagles. What's your view about the challenges faced in the NFF and the Super Eagles camp? One thing is we have talent in Nigeria, but season after season, year after year, we have to struggle. It has to always come down to permutation. Let South Africa help us defeat Benin so that we can defeat this. Where are we getting it wrong? Being a stakeholder yourself, sir.
You see, I won't say we're getting it wrong like that. What seems to be happening globally, and it's not only limited to Super Eagles or Nigeria, is the fact that other teams have just gotten better. They prepare better, the players are probably, more hungry for success. Yours might be self-made. They all play. Look, the South African team, I think almost all of them, they play in South Africa. Look at the other day, Slovenia. I think it was Slovenia that beat Germany 2-0. Could that have happened like 10 years ago? Other teams have just gotten better. That's just the honest truth, So if you want to win in football these days, you've just got to be hungry for success, because the team you want to play against, be it Benin Republic, be it Rwanda, be it Sudan, be it Uganda, they are out there to want to stake a claim that, look, we are as good as you. Fine, you might have all your players playing in Europe, but when it comes to the game itself, it's 11 against 11, and if they're more hungry for success and they have that positive attitude, sometimes that could just see them through, So it's not all about just having an array of stars. How hungry are those stars for success, Would they play, in such a way that they will leave their hearts on the field? I mean, that's what it comes down to. Who wants it more? So it's not, and it's everywhere. Even you see some teams in Europe. Look at the Premiership. When you see what the likes of certain teams are doing against big clubs, they'll go to Old Trafford and they'll beat them. Things that never used to happen. So that's what it really comes down to. Other teams have just gotten better. We need to develop that hunger for success.
Talking about the hunger for success. Now, over the years also, many people have said that, when it comes to the Super Eagles playing in, championships like the FIFA and the likes, that, many people have always berated the Super Eagles for always bringing in foreign-based players rather than looking within to pick players from the local leagues that we have, the likes of the 3S and the likes from the NPFL and, other leagues. What are your thoughts on that? Bringing in, foreign-based players versus, maybe ensuring that,
players.
yes, the team is more dominated by local players.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is, whether we like it or not, there's no Super Eagles coach really that will come in either now or later that would overlook the foreign players. Reason being that, they believe they're playing in the toppest league, top leagues. Their conditioning, their diets, their nutrition, their fitness level. Those are things that are being well taken care of and looked after in those various leagues where they play, or those various clubs where they're coming from, So they would always have preference for them. Even their training, the way they train, they're well fed and everything that goes around them, is more aligned.
Standards.
Yes, is more
But
aligned.
unfortunately,
So,
the Super Eagles have time and time again, what we call in local parlance, they fall in our hand.
yeah, it's because of that
Hunger
lack
for success.
of will to succeed.
Just
Is
mentioned.
that hunger is just not there.
Okay.
And if the hunger is not there, a 50-50 ball that, you should be able to win, because you're wary that you don't want to get injury, you don't want to go back to your club.
Some of their clubs even say, don't go until some days before.
Exactly. So those are the kind of things. But when you come up with teams that they have nothing to lose, the players play in their various local leagues and whatever, they will match you, pound for pound. And,
so
yes.
shouldn't we as a country then look at, bringing in more
Facilities.
players from the local leagues?
We can. We can always look at that. I'm an advocate of that because I believe players from the local league will probably be more passionate, for success, than these established stars, or have a good mix of both experienced and the local players. But again, one of the things that's undoing for some of our local players is the lack of discipline as well. How disciplined are they to be able to? I see it even within a small club, in this league. You really need to work on their mentality and just so that you can get the best out of them. All right. None of us is really happy about how Super Eagles has fallen down the pecking order. If we look at the rankings in Africa, teams that naturally, ordinarily should be way below us, are above us. But it's simply because they are more hungry for success than us. No more.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Sorry, you just mentioned discipline in terms of what for the local league?
Discipline in terms of training times, training routines, discipline in terms of if there's a policy, for not for bedtime, there's a policy for not using phones at certain times, things like that, so that they just need to understand that, look, it's a profession, and this profession has rules and regulations that, I must follow, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right, sir. 2 questions, but the first one, our latest outing at the African Nations Championship, that's CHAN. Are you of the school of thought that it's a reflection of the status of our league?
We had high hopes for CHAN. We really had high hopes. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out, the way we expected. I can't even lay my hands on, any specific reason why it turned out that way. Sudan beat us. Teams that naturally, we should be beaten comfortably. But I said earlier that, a lot of other teams or countries, they've just gotten better. I think, is it Madagascar that's I think they're in the
League.
semi-finals.
The finals.
The finals
Against Morocco.
Exactly. So who would have thought a country like Madagascar would get into the finals of CHAN? You know, eliminating the likes of, you know, Nigeria and all your Ghana and, you know, all the Senegal, all the teams that. So it's evolving every day. All the teams and other countries, they're just getting better. That's just the honest truth, you know. So it's for us to also realize that and know that, look, we still have a lot of work to do. Don't think because you're the giants of Africa, you can just go into the field of play and beat anybody. No, you can't, you know.
All right, sir. Let's come back to Shooting Stars this point in time. On Wednesday, we were honored to have the secretary of the Shooting Stars Supporters Club, Honorable Adewale Adilodun, was here, and he made a statement of appreciating your administration, citing Benin when you traveled down to face Bendel Insurance. That over a long period of time, will you have the chairman immediately after the game coming to dance with us, to celebrate with us? That it meant a lot to them. And but this is where I'm taking my question. We have about 3 sects of the Supporters Club. How has your administration been able to foster that unity rather than we should be the favorites? We are the Honorable Taiwo Konsalami favorite, or possibly maybe you have a favorite you want to tell us here. How have you been able to manage the 3 sects of according to what we've heard so far, the Supporters Club of Shooting Stars?
You know, what I met on ground was exactly what you just said, in terms of, you know, we have 3 arms of the Supporters Club, you know, all functioning. So it was a challenge, but you know, a house divided, you know, amongst themselves will not stand. You know, so one of the first things I did was to, you know, have a meeting with all of them, you know, their chairman and their secretaries. All right, we all sat down. I needed to understand how we got here. All right, and I was able to sell my vision to them that, look, under this administration, we need to work as one, okay? And a lot of the things I'm going to do and the steps I will take, you know, would give you that confidence that, yes, we can actually work as one, you know? So I tried to harmonize them in a clever way. So I got uniforms for them that were all the same, you know, so at least visibility, you could see that we're one. At least we're going to create that, you know, perception that we're together. Then got them to also sit together, you know, at the stadium in a particular location. That wasn't an easy thing to sell to them, but eventually I was able to, even though, you know, we've tweaked it a little bit to balance the support, you know, on both sides of the stadium, which you'll see tomorrow. So I was able to also give them, you know, things that would help their support and to further motivate them in terms of, you know, we printed flags. So it's not a case of you take 10 and you take 2, you know. Each arm got 10 flags, I think it was. So it was a very even, you know, level playing field. We got them vuvuzelas, you know, for all of them in equal numbers as well. So they were able to see that, look, really and truly, we're all working for the same objectives, which is we want to support Shooting Stars with all that we have. All right? Let us, they within themselves, you know, saw it as, look, let us give this chairman a chance to achieve, all right, based on what he's been able to do for us. Even the vehicle that took them to Benin, you know, I provided a vehicle for them and basically told them that, look, amongst yourselves, you know, select how many people are going to go, you know, with the bus, you know, that would cut across the 3 arms. So we're getting there. It's work in progress, but yeah.
All right, sir. This wouldn't be complete without questions from your fans, of course. So you've been doing a lot of media rounds recently, and I stumbled upon a particular, comment, and I said, let's bring it up here. It's not a question, but I want to know your, what you're going to say to this. So this person says, add other sports like basketball, track and field sports, table tennis, like other sports clubs such as Zamalek, Madrid, and Europeans. If not, remove sports club from the name and make it Shooting Stars FC.
Well, that is I think the club started being called WNDC, and then it metamorphosized into IICC, Shooting Stars, and then I think it became Shooting Stars Sports Club. Okay. I mean, that is not something that's it's what anybody can literally say, this is what it should be. All right. It must go through legislation and all those kind of things, but it's been Shooting Stars Sports Club for quite a while. Yeah.
All right, now the other comments here. Joseph from Mokala says he sounds like Governor Makinde. Well done to him. Okay, thank you so much, Joseph.
People say so. I don't know.
That's why I was saying that you look so calculated.
All right, Emmanuel from Akwata says, what's their relationship with 3SC TV? Are they in agreement with their work? Any partnership?
Yeah, 3SC Fans TV, I must commend them. A bunch of young guys that are doing great things. Okay. I think they took it upon themselves to launch that platform. I think they have almost 35,000 viewers or subscribers right now, which is massive. All right. So they cannot be ignored. All right. And they're doing a lot of good things for the club. They print their jerseys. They motivate themselves for tomorrow's games. I think they brought maybe 100 packs of water. They buy tickets. They contribute monies to buy tickets, for themselves, and so on and so forth. So they're doing a lot of good things. We're also supporting them, in any which way we can, supporting their outreach and so on. Because at the end of the day, everything all of us are doing is just for the Shooting Stars Sports Club. It's for the club, for the club to have success, on and off the field. Yeah.
Are there any plans? I'm particularly concerned, about the 3SC TV. Are there any plans to actually make this how do I put this? To bring it under, your social media arm, because right now it's under the will I say leadership or ownership of good guys. What's to stop maybe they have an argument within themselves, and someone takes over and start using it to the market the team. Are there any plans for 3SC to actually take this over? This is my own question.
In light of that question, under the past administration, we saw and felt a tense atmosphere under the media arm of 3SC and this 3SC Fans TV. So under your own administration, are you planning, just like she outrightly asked now, so that on the long run, probably before the end of the season, then the story don't change?
Yes. So
you see, the thing is, the pioneers of 3SC Fans TV, the key pioneers, all right, they are working directly with us. Okay. Yeah, with the club, For instance, let me give you an example. They wanted to, like they did last year, to launch, their Fans TV jersey as well. And I was able to tell them that, look, we can't really have that for now. My vision is we're all fans of the club, so let us have just one jersey, all right? Which they agreed to, okay? So they listen. They are part and parcel of what we're doing, particularly in the media space. You know, it's just I can't give you full details in terms of our engagement.
So all is well.
Yeah.
And all will be well.
Forever.
All right, let's take some more comments. Adekule Keshiro says, well done, Chairman. Wishing you and the team success. We are rooting for you. All-Star Rebirth says, kudos to 3SC Fans TV. Although not a member, but they are contributing a lot to the club, whichever way you want to look at it. And Afolabi Joshua Olanraju says, well done, Chairman, Honorable Taiwo Likon Salami. Well done, sir, for the transformation and innovations under your leadership, and I wish Shooting Stars success this season and season beyond. There's another question here. Ayo from Elebu says, how much is a jersey now? I'd love to buy.
Thank you all for your, wishes. Before I answer the jersey question, just going back quickly to 3SC Fans TV, one of the good things they've been doing, and they did the last home match, they do it even away matches now, is they set up viewing centers, okay, where fans of Shooting Stars, they did that on their own. I think they have a couple. There was one in the stadium. There was one in Election Lawyer. There's going to be one somewhere in Ring Road now. So for 3SC away matches, they set up viewing centers and they stream it. And people who are Shooting Stars supporters, they'll come there and watch. And even home matches, people that cannot get to the stadium, they can go to a viewing. So those are the kind of things they're doing. That's extremely laudable. On the jerseys are 15,000 each. But guess what? For the Southwest Derby tomorrow, which is against Ikorodu City, we've decided to do a promo for our jerseys. So for 48 hours, the promo is just going to be for 48 hours. That's today and tomorrow. You can go to the store at the stadium and you can pick up your jerseys for 12,000 just today and tomorrow. By Monday, it will revert back to the normal price. So you should hurry up while stocks
if I would ask concerning the jersey, do I still have a question that has to do with the fans? Yes, sir. But before then, the jersey, the total package, the jersey itself, the hand towel, the mug, the face cap is 25,000. Now there is a promo on the jersey. Does it cover us all? If I want to get all, or I'm just limited to the jersey alone?
It's just the jersey, sir.
Okay, sir.
Oliver Twist.
Okay, sir. If I would want to ask you this, and I wish you answer well. You organized a parade.
Yes.
Before the start of the season.
Yes, we did.
And you were specific. Because in one of the clip, I saw one of the guys telling you that, sir, let's have a stop in this particular place. And you responded, no, we are moving here. So you were intentional about that parade and where you were going to stop. What's your plan concerning fans on the long run? Because poco a poco, little by little, people are beginning to love Shooting Stars. Myself as an example.
You have no choice.
What's the long-term plan, sir, to bring that to its peak? I'm talking about fans' engagement with Shooting Stars.
I mean, you cannot disassociate fans from the club. This club has historical following, all right? And there are fans all over the world. I'm sure if they're to measure the amount of fans that Shooting Stars have, I'm sure it's probably over 1 million. People calling from Canada, from UK, from wherever. The Kunokeshi Road, I just sent a message now, is in the UK, So fans they literally own the club, all right? So whatever you do, you must always carry them along. You must make them part and parcel of, your vision for the club. And there are many things we're going to be doing to continually engage, our fan base. Of course, one of it is this issue of promo that we're doing on jerseys. We're able to send, a bus, transporting fans to Benin and all that. Tomorrow, I think we're sending another vehicle, to pick up students from UI to come to the stadium. They have a UI Shooting Star Supporters Club, I think there's something in UI,
Yes, sir.
you know, so I've approved for transportation for that. So you must always engage, you know, with your fans, because you really need them. They're the 12th man. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. It's been a very interesting conversation this afternoon. As we gradually wrap up, you said during the AGM of the NPFL, sometime in July, I guess, that very soon Shooting Stars will join the likes of, you know, other clubs that are flying their players
Absolutely.
to match venues. And we hope that it does work out for the 3SC.
It will work out. It will work out.
Thank you so much for coming to the show. Any last things to say to your fans out there?
Well, just to, thank you for supporting Shooting Stars over the years. Though the results we've had over the years has not been, too encouraging for you, but we promise we'll keep trying our best to at least bring back the glory days of Shooting Stars, to meet your heart's desires. Just continue to pray for us. It's not just on the field, even off the field, we need your prayers, we need your support. We travel by road, we travel by air, accidents here and there. So we just need you to continue to encourage us, come to the stadium, cheer us to victory. And at the end of the day, we shall all be better for it. Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much, sir. And of course, we must not end this episode without saying a very big thank you to our producer, Chief Yomi Davis, who always makes it his mission to ensure that we have standout personalities on Meet the Press. Thank you so much, sir. And a big thank you to our dear listeners. Thank you, Sir Delere, for coming on this episode of Meet the Press. Chukwemeka, thank you so much. Thank you to our guests. And this is how we wrap it up. My name is Bolanle Oduekun-Ayoola. It's Wells Radio 89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio and your number one family radio in the whole of Oyo State. Don't tune away because we have more wholesome programs coming up right after this. This is how we wrap it up. My name is Bolanle.